There we go. Now we're
See,
live.
see, you're not supposed to say 2 and 1. 2 and 1 is when you just you stop counting and then you just do the hand signals and then point. Otherwise, you might get picked up if you're floor directing. You might get picked
Ah,
up.
that happens.
I understand that with a 1. I don't understand that with 2.
Just
They
to
want to
give
be
Nobody's-
it.
really sure.
Nobody's that inept. They accidentally do it 2 seconds beforehand.
Well,
It
there's
could be Windows.
It's a lot of different people pushing a lot of different buttons, so it kind of depends on when they switch you in and stuff like that. I don't know.
Or they could be counting via Windows. 5, 4, 10, 8, 1,
45
6.
I mean, 6 seconds.
3 seconds, 2 seconds,
38 minutes.
1 hour. What?
More than a day. Yeah, that's.
Oh, I'm sorry. That file's corrupted. I couldn't have-
Yep.
Just about there. So
Good.
I think we
That
should
was
let.
that was a good joke. That was a good joke to kick off on.
It's good. I'm thinking
Classic.
we might talk about Microsoft again at some point.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, really?
I don't know. We'll see how long Phil rants. We should just let him
Yeah.
start. We should just let Phil start, and then I'm just gonna turn my mic off.
And walk
Phil.
away, have a sandwich.
You took care.
I read it too.
Enjoy,
I did.
everyone.
After Phil's ranty text messages, I read the article in question.
Okay.
Phil, go ahead. Phil,
I apologize ahead of time, everyone, because this is mostly my fault. So
Phil, tell us exactly what Bob said.
no,
What do you-
tell us what Phil feels. Bob said that's far more. enjoyable.
Okay. So a couple things here. First off is, what you guys said in the podcast last week after I left to rob the train.
Phil
There's
robbed
a
the
little
train.
bit of feedback on that. I may or may not touch on it because I don't remember exactly what you guys said. But
Were you robbing a train? I'd like to.
I forgot I was recording from school. I was gonna bring my fake beard. Was that on? Was it 4th? What was the last
showed
week?
up with a cowboy hat and a black
I totally
bandana
and bags
I
of
was thinking
money.
about it.
and bags of money.
Bags of,
Or send me a bag of money.
bags of money for everybody.
I wouldn't complain.
Okay, so
Depends on what the money was. If it was Monopoly money,
no, that was
I'd
the
still
4th.
take it. It's still useful. What happens if you wreck some of your Monopoly money? You want more of it.
nothing but hearsay. All right. Go
Okay,
ahead, Phil.
I'm going to edit this down because there's some extraneous stuff in here. But I have a
Yes.
text message conversation between me and Bob, which will probably make it into the show notes. Speaking of show notes, I'm gonna link to Bob's article in the show notes.
I'm sorry ahead of time for everyone else to read that.
Yeah, there's like 4 typos.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like, I noticed them, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a writer. I'm gonna notice those. They weren't bad, honestly.
No,
We're
they
fine.
weren't bad.
But I
Okay,
missed a
but
comma. I didn't miss a comma. You missed a comma. Sorry, what did I say? I missed a comma. I miss commas all the time. That's what editors are for.
I just keep adding commas until somebody starts taking them out.
So that's
Yeah,
enough. No more
That's
commas.
the strategy. You just put one in between every word. Sometimes in the middle of a word. And
Eventually, you're right.
And eventually, some of them are right. They'll get the wrong ones out.
Yeah.
That's
That
what
helps.
like I said, that's what editors are for. I play it fast and loose. When it comes to
Play fast and loose with my punctuation.
yep. I'm a man on the edge. I cannot be stopped. Colons, semicolons, full stops.
Oh boy.
I play with them all. M and N dashes.
Oh, hey. Well, okay, so
Quotation
I made-
marks. Commas.
No.
Apostrophe.
Too much.
Tilde.
Tildes.
Tilde?
Tildels. Tildels.
Tails.
Tildale swoons.
That's a street in New Hampshire.
parentheses,
The
brackets,
oh hey Jonas
Ampersands.
question
exclamation mark.
Question.
Number sign.
Question for Jonas.
Oh, Bob disappeared.
Oh,
Okay.
Bob's gone. Oh, that's
Quick.
fine. Okay, so it's not actually a question. The
Okay.
I put everything I possibly could on the Steam market except for my bot killer items.
You gotta get rid of those. Gotta get rid of the rare ones.
I don't have any rare ones. All mine
Gotta
are
sell them off. I picked up some surplus vouchers for $1.50. That's
Nice.
50 cents under market.
That's really
Fantastic.
good. That's
It
very
is.
good.
You get 5 other people, presumably friends that are just using you for items. You get them all things, and it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Anyway,
Anyway.
I don't know. Do you feel safe disclosing how much you've made in the Steam store?
Oh,
Because
I haven't made that much.
you know, I actually have like $3.50 some cents,
Okay.
and
If that's the base where we're starting from, then. Oh, wait. Never mind. I just checked my Steam account for the first time in. And let me see here. I recently, according to my records, I did recently sell something. I managed my Strange Blood Bot Killer Knife Mark 1 for $8.
nice.
And I sold my Strange Blood Bot Killer Sniper Rifle for $11.50.
Very nice.
So right now I've got $23 that I did not earn and is a pittance of a return, considering to how much money I have dumped into Team Fortress 2.
Then is
Whatever makes you feel good, Jonas.
It doesn't. It clearly doesn't make me feel good. But now I have $20 that I need to spend on Steam. This is genius. You put real money in and only get fake money out. How do they do it? Good thing I don't have to like spend any money for a long time. I should really go through my. I don't think I have any inventory that anybody wants to buy anymore, because those were my 2 bloods, which are rare, stranges for everyone listening who doesn't care. Those since they're rarer than standard items, those are the only ones worth anything. All the other things I can sell be worth like, I don't know, 60
5
cents.
cents. See, I put all my cards up for like 5 cents a piece.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I sold those a long time ago. Like, gotta get rid of them.
But they won't let you sell everything.
No, they will only let you sell items that have a modifier. They must be either strange, vintage, or unusuals.
Okay, that makes sense.
Those are the 3 categories. Or there are some items that let you trade anyway, like tickets. Those are sellable all the time. But standard items you can't sell. Just vintage. I have a loads of vintage. I think I do have a hat. I have a vintage soldier stash. Again, nobody cares about this. Those things, since they're not in production anymore, that's like $5. Like, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Why is my... Oh, that one's haunted. Why do I care about that? So dumb. Why do I spend time looking at this? Anyway, I got like a bazillion of these frickin' strange sticky launchers that are just silvers, and they only go for like 50 cents. So I'm gonna sell one right now while we're talking.
What? It's not that hard. Just push a couple buttons.
Yeah, literally. And now I just sit back and wait. It does take longer to move higher priced items. That $11.50 sniper rifle The 1150 is what I got. That is not what the buyer paid. They paid more than that. Sadly, that took a couple weeks to move. So your cards will get snapped up
Mm-hmm.
by speculators who think they'll be worth something in the future, which maybe they will be. It's kind of cool. But as far as I can tell, as long as you can buy the game, you can just keep making more of them.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Oh no! I sold off my 4 Magicka cards or whatever. Now I'll pick up the game for $1.25 on a different Steam account, get 4 more cards, and make more of them. It doesn't make any sense because Valve always does this, where they introduce a currency system before they tell you what the rules are to it, which is problematic. And Bob's just like, oh, I'm gonna read a book because something.
Well, there goes
No
Jonas.
Oppen?
Oh, enterprise server.
Enterprisey.
Enter privacy.
Emprise is what it is.
Serve ear.
Severed.
Sever. That's it.
Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
No, I
What are we
So I
even
guess I
going
am comfortable disclosing how much money I
good,
made.
good.
for?
No, that's kind of what I wanted to ask you about, how stuff was going and if stuff was worth selling, and it sounds like it is.
Yeah, I've got like $22 in my wallet. Come get me, Russians. I know you're out there. Send me a Steam chat claiming that you are Gabe Newell and that you need my password for maintenance.
Does
Sorry,
that work?
happened. No, well, apparently on some people.
I'm gonna try.
It's apparently all Russians and Ukrainians do all day. No offense to Russians and Ukrainians. A lot of you are very lovely people.
Wow. Okay.
My sister-in-law was raised in Ukraine.
Nothing like digging yourself a hole and then proceeding to dig it even deeper.
No, seriously, I've had no problem with the Russians. Or Ukrainians. Try not typing, Phil.
Yeah, see, no, that's my new strategy. Is I start talking, see, I can tap the computer. Sorry, you guys.
It's preemptive. If you start typing first, it'll shut you down. But if you're already talking while you start typing, they'll be like, oh, he's talking.
He wants to. Okay.
He just talks like a keyboard being typed on. It's okay.
Wonder if it's predictive, so it'll pick up on that after a while.
Just slap it around. Okay. So these aren't in any order. That's the problem. I wanted to say, I wanted to mention to all of our 5 listeners that
5. Thinking
we're
a
going
lot
up.
of ourselves,
That's-
aren't we?
That's a 500% increase.
No, our stats, we usually get about 15 downloads. I assume like a third of those people might listen.
Oh. All of them
What?
Filipino, hungry to learn our language. Even though I think that's a major language group in the Philippines. I'll look into that.
Very possibly do.
Find out for us, Jonas.
Okay,
will.
so I created a video game name generator for Nintendo,
Oh, yes, this is brilliant.
which I'm actually really, really proud of. There'll be a link in the show notes. Otherwise, there's a links on apathicthursday.net. And Bob's post got me to thinking, or actually what you guys were talking about, I think maybe got me to thinking a little bit about like Nintendo's naming scheme. And like you have Super Mario Bros, where they just started adding the name of the system onto Super Mario so you got Super Mario, I think Super Mario Bros, Super Mario World, and Super Mario Land, and Super Mario Galaxy, and then it was on the Wii, so it was Super Mario Wii, and then they added a U at the end, and then they added a 2, and they added a new at the beginning, and you take a simple concept like Mario Brothers, and you just keep adding garbage to both ends until you reach this like Dell laptop style naming system. So I created a formula, and the formula, I'll give away my secret. Let's bring that up here so I can take a look at it. It basically takes the basically starts by picking a beginning word, which is maybe like legend of or adventures of or super or new or one of these words that Nintendo often puts at the beginning.
Or Earth.
Or Earth. And then it chooses a second one. And both of these are optional. And the second one is like Paper or Kirby or Castlevania or Zelda or stuff like that, which also tends to go at the beginning of a name. And then it chooses a random name and or noun from a list of about 14,000 different names and nouns. And then to the end of that, it adds something like Mario or Land or World or Galaxy, or I added all the Pokemon colors that exist and a bunch of new colors, and then after that it adds a system name, and then after that it may add a number or a numeral or something after it. And so there's like 6 or 7 different things, and I've seen some as short as 3 words long, 2 or 3 words long, and I've seen some as long as like just really, really. I'm really excited with how random it makes the length, and I've actually come up with some really good titles. It has a Twitter account you can subscribe to, and twice a day it tweets out a brand new name. And I'm really excited with how quickly I was able to pull something together, and how like it's clearly satirical, kind of making fun of Nintendo's naming schemes.
Some of those might work actually.
But yeah, some of these are really legitimate. Like, so anyway.
All right, here's what I've got. I just popped on. Oracle of Paper Long Soul Silver Advance 2012.
Done. I think that's due next year. It's just 2 years late.
It took 2 years.
New EGMX Dog 64 Wii Plus 5. Mega Kirby.
That's
Rice
due in
Black 2
that's due this
Revolution
fall.
Fit 2 Plus 2. So many
Around the
dudes.
corner. That's gonna make it for the Christmas season.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch your Black Friday. It's gonna be coming up, just flying off the shelves.
I've literally spent several hours this last week hitting refresh on this stupid page.
The best part is it posts to Twitter every once in a while.
Yep.
So I see it cross my Twitter stream. It's so funny.
Did I put that one? I think that one's on my other desktop. I mean, I'm keeping a list of my favorites, but it's only like 3 long right now. Okay.
It's awesome.
So part of the thing that sparked that, to some extent, was Bob's comments about how he's so excited for Wind Waker HD, and I am so, oh my goodness, I don't even know where to begin with this. Like, Wind Waker.
I don't know where for you to begin with it either.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of Wind Waker. I didn't finish the game. I played the final boss on someone else's game, so I actually beat the final boss. Go ahead, Josh.
Why didn't you finish the game?
Because I didn't want to make 30,000 gold doubloons and pay the creepy Tingle guy who hangs out with Peta-Bear and like
Dreamline
get all the map stuff.
Yeah, okay. See, same reason. That last part was a deal breaker.
You guys
Sail
are so
around-
weak. You're so. I feel.
No.
I feel so
Grind
weird.
when I
Like
see it. I'm
I'm the
grind
one
when
who
I see
completed
it.
a video game.
I'm not
I
weak.
can't
The
believe
game is
this.
weak.
I can't believe this. You guys are the ones who play Steam all the time and are selling imaginary dollars for other imaginary dollars.
Hey,
And I'm
we are
the one who
selling
completed
imaginary
Wind Waker.
items for
For
imaginary,
imaginary dollars. Okay. So, and I'm the one who completed Wind Waker. I think I might have to do a mic drop, but that's really heavy and I don't want to break it.
No,
So,
okay. There's a difference between playing with a community and a grind. I know grinds when I see them.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Spend,
In like the
spend 12
hierarchy of
hours
gamers
making
in
some
this
money
one,
here.
I'm like way down here, completing
See,
Wind
this is-
Waker, and you guys are way up here, like selling imaginary items for imaginary money.
Bob, You're so big into plot. I don't understand what plot is pulling you together here. The plot is go hunt down money and then pay this guy. Like, oh my goodness. But here's the thing about the Wind Waker.
Real quick.
Kick the other Jonas.
I can kick the other Jonas. That's fine. Why other Jonas? Yeah, I'm sure I want to kick him.
It bugs me because it's cell shaded. It's cell shaded, which means like Wind Waker. Well, Wind Waker was cell shaded, and like, okay, I can get behind that. It feels very Paper Mario to me. It feels very like, okay, I'm willing to accept the fact that they decided to go this route. It's a fine game. Like, I didn't like aspects of the gameplay, but what bugs me the most is Nintendo is like, we're gonna do an HD version of Zelda. We're gonna do a high definition version of Zelda, and you know what version of Zelda they're gonna use? They're going to use the cel-shaded version to do HD. That makes no sense. Let's take these blobs of a single color, because that's what cel-shaded means, and make an HD version of these blobs that are a single color.
It looks cel-shaded. It is not technically cel-shaded.
Oh, it does, like...
I know that doesn't really matter in context.
Let's, like, why don't they do an HD version of Adventures of Link? And you just have really clear. You have really clear lines around the corners of everything because it's all blocks.
That'd be sweet.
Oh my goodness! Like, don't get me wrong. I'm really happy. I'm really happy they decided to not remake another version of Ocarina of Time.
It's coming though. I'm sure it's coming.
How many have they done? I thought they only did one.
They did Ocarina of Time, and then they did
Adventure Quest.
Yeah, the Master's Quest or whatever, and then they re-released Ocarina of Time for the GameCube, and then they re-released it for the 3DS, and then they made the version you could buy on the Wii.
Very little grinding, very little sailing for hours to find 8 pieces of the Triforce you have to fish out of the lake. Well, ocean, I guess, not a lake.
Like, I love the concept of having a open world in an ocean. That's really cool. They did a terrible job with it.
It's just like, no, they didn't even do. It's just one little lapse where all of a sudden it became Legend of Needle Haystack.
There we go.
What?
Well, what's it? Go again. You go again.
I said Legend of Zelda: Needle in a Haystack. That's just what it came. Just that one part, and I'll admit I should have stuck with it. But they shouldn't have made me do it.
Well,
seriously,
you didn't have to.
I didn't have to, and I didn't. I quit. Yep. I quit right then, and I watched Kai beat the rest of it.
Just like you don't have to sell imaginary items for imaginary money, and then buy more imaginary items to maybe get more imaginary money.
Buys me more real games. More real games that I'll never possibly play because I have like 30 games that I haven't gotten through right now.
Are games real? Like, that's the definition of it. Like, are they real?
I'm pretty sure they are, as they are in experience.
Experienced, but are they real? They're not really real.
I think
they're not like
they are
physical manifestation of the dreams of a person. They're
oh
more
my
like
goodness.
An imaginary manifestation. So I feel sympathy toward you and the Triforce fetch quest. Yes, it was long. Yes, it was arduous. I personally am very excited for Wind Waker HD because I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm really looking forward to playing.
It's going to be great to sail around on a giant leaf in HD.
I'm really excited about it. Yes.
See, this is a symptom of a larger problem with Nintendo, which is why it brings me back to Bob's blog post, and Jonas just froze, and Bob isn't moving.
He'll unfreeze again in the future. It's okay.
Like, Nintendo is really, really, really good at doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And in your post, you're like, well, the Nintendo, to get better, just has to redo a new version of Mario like these other versions of Mario that they did. And to some extent, I can agree with that. But at the same time, Nintendo does like one thing, two things. They make Mario games and they make Zelda games. And for the past how many games, they've just remade an old version of the game. So they're not actually really doing anything. They're just remaking the game, and they're like, hey, everybody, we remade this. You should all buy it.
Hold on, I'm finding the actual line, because I know what you're saying.
I mean, to some extent, this is what I said in Bob. Go ahead.
So it's create really. This is, I guess this is the under what can Nintendo do ? Let's start with the easy one. Create really great games. I'm talking about Shooting for the Stars, multiple AAA, Ocarina of Time-esque, Mario Galaxy caliper games for the Wii U and 3DS lines.
Notice he went to Ocarina of Time and not Wind Waker when he was looking for a AAA title.
So what I was trying to say is you have to have games that are that good. Not necessarily those games redone, but games that are that good.
But when was the last time Nintendo did a game that good? N64.
Not necessarily. No. I think Skyward Sword is a better 3D Zelda game than Ocarina of Time was.
And I think Twilight Princess is a better game.
And I think... Yeah. They've had real success.
Twilight Princess was great, but it was way too linear.
See, the thing is, Phil, but you just said I'm a person who likes story.
It was a huge world that you couldn't access until you finished the game.
What? What do you mean?
Like, half the game, there's this huge bubble over half the world that you can't get at, and then when you can actually get over there, like, there's nothing to do.
Isn't that kind of the point of having that? It's a barrier. It's something to divide.
Yeah, what was the barrier in Ocarina of Time?
What was the barrier? Well, time for one thing, and then it's been so long since I actually played the game. But you couldn't get to things. You couldn't get to things unless you had gotten to a certain point.
But a lot of the world was open.
Sure, and a lot of the world was open too.
Okay, first of all,
Dang. It was gonna be good too.
I
cut out.
Yeah, you did. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
First
of all, go back.
First of all, Hyrule Field, that whole area, that huge expanse, that blew our minds.
Boring. I hated riding the stupid horse all the time. I'd rather have gone across the ocean on an imaginary lion boat.
That's not it. That field is like the one. That's like one stage in like the 20-stage section of the Hyrule Field of Twilight Princess.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. It's huge. There's tons of stuff. There's tons of open world things. And sometimes you just want to ride around and kill guys and pick up worms and bottles so that you can catch fish.
It did not feel that big to me.
Yeah,
it felt like very limiting.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it felt huge. Maybe I just hate games.
Well, you didn't finish Wind Waker.
The thing...
Like rubbing salt in a wound.
This is the show where we find out we all hate each other, and we stop the show
for a very specific reason. For very specific views on Nintendo. I agree with what you're saying, though, Phil. I don't think the road to Nintendo's success lies in keep doing the thing we've been doing for the past 10 years, even though that's what got us to this place.
10 years, jeez. Keep doing the same thing we've been doing for the past 30 years.
They haven't, yeah. But okay, so here's, I was getting worked up again, rereading your blog post, Bob, and what I'm seeing, like, as I'm collating all this stuff in my mind, and I haven't really been up to speed on this, so you're kind of the only person I've talked to in terms of like what's actually going on. But I feel like Nintendo is trying to be for casual gamers. They're clearly not hitting the hardcore gamers because their console just can't handle it, and their
What's
controls
hardcore?
are really,
No,
really weird.
stop.
So what I'm no, and so they're focusing on these casual gamers, but they're keeping the price at the high-end hardcore gamer prices, and they refuse to go into the lower market like apps. Except now they're doing this whole 2DS dealy bob, which I think if they market the 2DS as a cell phone for children who are too young to have cell phones, in the sense where it's like this is what you buy, it's cheap, and so this is what you buy your like 5-year-old, so your 5-year-old doesn't have to mess with your iPhone and wear down the battery. I think they could go places with it, but they can't be selling $60 games for it because they have to market a smaller. I don't know. I've never had a handheld.
I think. Well, first of all, bye, Jonas. The 2DS is going to sell well because they're going to be releasing the first Pokemon game at the same time the 2DS comes out.
Oh! Let's release the same game that we've re-released.
So it's gonna be a financial success. I don't think that is going to be an issue. It's going to be a financial success. Welcome back, Jonas.
Thank you.
But I'm
do that to build tension.
I'm going to put in the show notes, I'm going to put a link to one of the recent talk shows with John Gruber, and he had John Syracuse on, and they talked specifically about a good portion of what they talked about Nintendo. And it came down to this. Nintendo only has a place in a world where pure gaming consoles, pure video game machines have a place. And if there is no place for pure video game machines, then Nintendo's not going to make it. And they're not going to make apps. They're not going to be successful doing that. They might make money, but they're not going to be successful, and everything's going to suck. That's just the way it is. They need to create their own hardware, or they're just going to be Sega, and Sega's terrible.
Sega's still alive, though.
But they make terrible games. Like, that's the thing, though. They don't make Sega games anymore.
What terrible games did they say, excluding Team Sonic?
All I'm saying is that Sega is not the Sega of the early 90s. When it was Sega and Nintendo. They're not the same company, and Nintendo won't be either. And they could make money, sure, but they're not going to make critically awesome games anymore. I just don't think it's possible. I don't think it's in their DNA. So, you have to work from the premise.
Are you talking about Nintendo or Sony or Sega right now?
Nintendo. So I think you work from the premise of, if there is a market for purely video game-based machines, then Nintendo will do fine. If it's not, if video games have been relegated as an additional offering of general purpose devices like an iPhone or PC gaming or a tablet, then they're done. They're sunk. They're just going to have to become an app maker, is what it amounts to, and they're going to sink into irrelevance, and that's kind of the way it is. Asimco had an excellent graph today showing how the peak was 2008 for video game sales to dedicated console, and it has dropped. Everyone has dropped compared to the prior one.
Yeah, the entire economy has dropped since 2008.
Well, but not sales of smartphones and not sales of tablets, and the PC gaming even has taken off since then. So that's why you see the PlayStation pushing its way as essentially a home entertainment system, and the Xbox trying its darndest not to be a video game machine as best as it can. The first ad Microsoft put out doesn't barely even mention video games at all. They want it to be an internet-connected general-purpose device, not a video game console.
That's what people want. That's just getting more functionality out of your machine.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Nintendo's not going to be able to do that.
Why can't they do that? It's somebody
They
else's
don't have expertise in there. They don't have expertise in doing that.
They're adaptable. This is a game company that started out as a card company in 1893.
That's very true.
Whatever.
And they'll probably continue on. But you think
making
about it.
cards, no doubt.
Making cards.
They're just going to keep making Pokemon cards until the day they die.
Buy out Wizards of the Coast, and then.
No. I don't see Nintendo staying very relevant because they don't do very well adapting. I don't feel they've done very well adapting at all. They didn't go HD. They went their own route.
They made a boatload of cash doing it. They're living
they
off of
did.
not going HD. That's basically what they're doing.
They did, but like, how long did it take to get a Netflix app on the Wii U? Or I mean, on the Wii. How long, like to do chat and multiplayer online stuff like that with things like Mario Kart? Like, it was terribly implemented.
They're never gonna be good at it. They're never gonna be, because they always default to being the family friendliest. They don't want to allow people to act like idiots online. So instead, you have the Xbox Live, where essentially 12-year-olds can swear at each other for 24 hours a day. Go 12-year-olds! You know, that's why they're either going to be able to survive as a video game only company, or they're going to go into irrelevance.
You don't think they could start producing their own?
I don't think they'll be good at making apps.
They've got some things that could port over well,
but they won't port it
super well. You know how many people? Oh my goodness! Oh, $9.99 for a Pokemon app. Holy cow!
Oh, they're printing money.
But then all you've done is you've
Nintendo hates.
To the lowest
sunk yourself down. It was a card game and a cartoon show. What kind of integrity are we talking about here?
Square Enix is right now talking about going to free-to-play to make HD games actually economically viable. That's the state of the video game industry right now. Is the amount of money to create high-quality games is through the roof, and their lunch is getting eaten by small independent developers because
like Kickstarter.
I didn't know Kickstarter was a developer, but we'll go back to that.
I'll believe it when Double Fine ships me their game.
Yeah, but the thing is, Nintendo makes big budget titles. Like that's what they've done. They've grown up in the software licensing system.
Can I call semantics on that?
Sure.
What's the cost to develop, like, say, a Skyward Sword versus a Halo 4?
Oh, well, Halo 4 is probably... I don't even remember. What was the amount of money to do Halo 4?
I have no idea. All I know is that GTA 5...
Hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, the cost to recoup those development costs are huge.
Which is... Yeah, but that's an overall problem with the rest... That's something that Nintendo can fix and try and move forward. They can start allowing independent developers to make games for their system and facilitating that, which they're not doing. Right now, indie developers hate every option they have, with Sony being the least hated of the options.
Well, I think probably PC would be the least hated of the options.
Well, okay, yes, obviously, of the consoles.
Yeah.
And now it's just like people immediately moving on to like, oh, let's just go with Ouya, which Ouya blew
which is dead.
They had the chance and they blew it.
But my point was, Square Enix is a software only. They make apps for, smartphones, and they make big budget titles, and they're having to they're going to have to subsidize their big budget items by essentially making them free to play to try and make them economically viable, because they can't sell them because they're so expensive.
Yeah, but the thing is, anybody who's seen a Square Enix cutscene doesn't believe that they're spending too little on games. Like, there's room for them to cut back on stuff. Square Enix's cutscenes have historically been ridiculous, to the point where they just made a movie out of them and called it Advent Children.
That is true. They did make a movie out of them.
Okay, this website I just found that has no credentials at all says that the budget for Skyward Sword was somewhere between 7 and 10 million.
Yep.
Halo had it.
Halo 4 cost Microsoft more money than any title to date.
Which is?
It doesn't say it. 60 million. Wait,
there we go.
No, that was Halo 3 cost 60 million.
Yeah, so it'd be over
Halo
that.
4 was more than that.
I heard that my roommate told me that GTA 5 cost more money than any movie that's ever been made, except for Pirates of the Caribbean 3. The most expensive movie today.
That just sounds crazy. Like.
Yeah, I know.
That's nuts.
Pirates of the Caribbean 3 is the most expensive movie ever made. That's not money well spent.
I'm just saying the
1, 2, 3, somewhere down there by my foot.
Yeah, 1 was entertaining. 2 was.
1 was very good.
Yes,
anybody who says otherwise is. 3 just didn't deliver everything that 2 was trying to set up.
Yep.
Which was silly.
All I'm saying it's not as simple as Nintendo just makes some apps, like just becoming a software developer.
Oh, I don't think it's
not that simple.
easy either, but I don't think they're taking the right approach. Like, the newest piece of intellectual property Nintendo has is Pikmin. And Pikmin 3 just came out.
Yep.
So, I mean, really, that's so much. That's so many Pikmins.
Three?
Mine?
There's 4 Halos, and there's like 37,000 Call of Duties.
That's first of all.
There's
First of
5.
all,
okay,
Six Call of
There's-
Duties.
There's more than 4 Halos, because there's also like Halo Reach and Halo Reaching Again and Halo
ODST.
ODST.
Yeah, it's got like 6 of those. That's fine, but compare that to like side-scrolling Mario games. Come on, it's not even close.
But Halo's been around
Nintendo had-
since 2000.
Nintendo
Mario's
had
been around
3
since
on one
the 80s.
console and like another
What?
2 on another. Like, Nintendo, by the time they got to their 3rd console, it was like, yeah, we've made way too many Mario games.
Let's do it again.
Let's do some more of that.
See, but here's the other thing about Mario and Zelda that I always say. Every time Nintendo comes out with a new Mario, or they come out with a new Zelda, they're like, oh, this is a brand new game. It's wonderful. It's a great new experience. You should, and it's okay. Every time Microsoft comes out with a new Halo, they're like, dude, we just added a number to the end of it. It's like
Okay. That is true, and I have heard a excellent defense of Nintendo's Zelda, Legend of Zelda series, where it's kind of like the same story being retold, like a very thematically the same story, but it keeps getting dressed up and packaged as a new art style or a new setting or something like that. And some people really like that aspect of it, that it is this. That it is this series that
I'll admit it. I'll buy anything. I'll buy anything Zelda.
that it kind of like it doesn't broaden its base by like pushing one story further, but by retelling this old story in new ways, which is okay. And I think there's a place for a series to do that, and I do mean a series. One. The whole console market, the whole video game market gets one of these.
So you've essentially done away with every video game almost ever because they're all rehashes of something from some point.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's always this constant Link, Ganon, Zelda thing, type of thing going on, which is fine. It's like.
Okay.
I don't know what to compare it to in some other form of media. It's like...
Dang.
It's like James Bond movies. It's kind of the same, but it's repackaged in a new way, and you feel like it's the same
It's very
story.
formulaic.
Well, yeah, but it's the differences
I'm not-
are made in the style, and that's okay. It's okay for a game to do that. but
Video games are formulaic, period. You
No.
grab the controller, you go like this, things happen
Oh
on
my
screen.
goodness, no.
Oh
then
wow, that is wrong in so many different ways.
I feel bad having spent this
But
much
see-
time
but-
talking about video games. Like,
I don't. But who are we disappointing?
But see, so Skyward Sword,
Yep.
like I can boil a lot of my irritation with Nintendo down to this sort of thing. In Skyward Sword,
Yep.
I felt like they didn't know if I was 5 years old
oh goodness,
or
here it is
25
again.
years old. Because half the time they're like, dude, pumpkin, there's a pumpkin patch over there. And then you get done eavesdropping, and then your sword is like, Link. And you're like, yes. It's like, they were talking about a pumpkin patch. It's right outside. Pumpkin patch. And you're like, yes, I know. And they do that all the time. But there's other sections where they don't tell you things. And there's different. Oh my! I have a whole blog post. I won't go back into all of it, but I feel like this is Nintendo's thing with a lot of different games, especially Mario Kart, and whatnot. And I get that. They're aiming towards a younger audience who maybe isn't, they go for the quote-unquote casual gamer sort of thing. But it's like, at the same time, I'm not going to get super excited about them re-releasing a bunch of games.
I am.
Over and over and over again.
See, the thing is, I do think that Nintendo, if Nintendo wants to be, and this is what I think the Wii was trying to be, it wasn't trying to be the home unit. It was trying to be, it wasn't trying to be the multimedia unit. It was trying to be the console unit, which is fine because it was priced cheaper and it had this fun, wand or whatever remote, and whatever else. That's all fine, but they didn't seal the deal by getting a bunch of other games in on it. I'm telling you, like, if the indie games are eating these big developers alive, they need to make friends with the indie developers. And Nintendo badly burned one of its bridges by not allowing Binding of Isaac on a Wii. I get why they did it.
I don't know if I'd say they burned a bridge in that case. I mean, in an economic sense, maybe, but I think that bridge.
Didn't Nintendo come out against developers making free apps in their garage? Didn't somebody from Nintendo say something about like dissing these indie developers who are making these apps in their garage, like Angry Birds or something? I feel like this was just within the last year they came out and they're like, these people making these $5 apps, these games are crap.
I don't know. I knew they also.
Either that or the person who said that everyone should get with the program from Nintendo, from Microsoft. So I don't know. The Jones style.
But see, here's yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing though. I cut like this is full disclosure. Like this ranting is coming from someone who really doesn't spend very much time playing video games, and who's not planning on spending a whole lot of time playing video games. So to some extent, it's like I'm the worst person to be like commenting on this, but at the same time, I feel like some of this stuff is really stupid.
Yeah.
I'll end with this. I don't want Nintendo to be Sony. I don't want them to be Microsoft. I don't want them to be. I want Nintendo to be Nintendo, and to create the games that Nintendo creates. And if they fail in the marketplace, then they fail. Like that's how business should go. We don't want lingering zombies to be businesses to latch on and be parasites to the economy. That's not what's needed. But I'm very hesitant to have Nintendo become like someone else or do things like someone else for the sake of just keeping them going in perpetuity. If their games don't fit for people anymore, then maybe they should go back to making playing cards. Maybe it's a better fit for them. Or just selling video game soundtracks, which honestly, just do it. Like, release them. But I just want Nintendo to continue to be Nintendo because I still like their games, even in my advanced age of 85. I still enjoy playing the formulaic Nintendo video games. So as far as I'm concerned, Nintendo, if you're out there and you want to do Majora's
and listening to this podcast
HD, let's have it. I will purchase Majora's Mask HD in a heartbeat.
My goodness.
If you want to do a Retina version of Link's Awakening, don't even add color to it. Just make the lines that much sharper. I'm on board with that. I will probably purchase that. And then, as a side benefit, we will have Phil writing more blog posts. And I like that idea. Or sending me more and more irate iMessages on my phone during work hours. That is a side benefit to all of this, is the text messages I receive from Phil during the day.
Okay. I also would like to finish with some thoughts. Okay.
Thoughts from Jonas.
Yes. Okay. Here they are. The official languages of the Philippines are Filipino and English.
However,
they have 10 regional languages and 6.
It's a lot of regional languages for the Philippines.
Recognized main foreign languages, including Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, Hindi, Korean, Malay,
Oh, did he die again?
Oh, we need to.
We were
need to
close.
fix
We were
this.
close to. I think Jonas has to just move again. I think that's what this is all
I
about.
think I'm literally on Newegg right now trying to get myself a new router. Like, I'm not even joking.
Hey, I guess.
Is there a brand you guys recommend?
I've heard good thing about Asus routers
Mm.
recently.
Bob and I both have Apples.
Yep, but I've heard good thing about Asus routers recently.
Asus, you
This-
say?
Or
Asus.
as us, if you want to think of it that way too.
I've heard it so many ways.
Hey, so we should end with a different topic because this actually was an awesome podcast, by the way.
This was a podcast full of angst.
It was awesome though. It was an awesome pod. We gotta find more things where we're angsty. That's good.
Hey, I just sold another item on Steam.
Yay! Imaginary items for
70
imaginary
cents.
money.
70 cents. 70 cents. Hey, 70 cents saved is 70 cents earned.
This is tough. Without Jonas being
By
able to
proxy.
actually- there we go. All right. Whew. So do we want to comment at all on the Microsoft buying Nokia?
No.
Oh.
No one's
I'll
gonna
be-
get a Lumia X1575 Small Business Edition Service Pack 2?
I'll go nuts on iMessage tomorrow about that topic.
Oh, giant cameras.
That'd be sweet. Then we can pocket that topic until next week.
Pocket for top.
Those cameras do look comical on the back of those phones.
I don't even think I've seen them.
How could you miss them, Phil? They're like staring you at the face. I'm a camera. Take pictures with me.
Can I just say, I just looked for the best wireless router. The best.
Mm-hmm.
Highest rated one on all of Newegg, a place that prides itself on reviews.
D-Link?
No, it's the same Linksys router I have right now.
I wouldn't trust them. What have you got right now?
Well, how old is yours?
It's like 4 years old, 5 years old.
Because, see, I kind of feel like after a while, sometimes you just need to reset. Like, have you done a hard reset and done reset factory defaults?
It's not terrible.
Take that as a no.
No,
Or I have died and I'm not coming back.
no, I haven't done a full factory reset. That could be it. Maybe I will try
Or
that.
check for new firmware too. You could try that.
Yeah.
Phil,
Sounds
I'm pasting links into the show notes, by the way, so that we can.
Are you putting them in the show notes or just to me so I can?
I'm pasting them in the chat so that we can have them in the show notes. Lag in my camera, my fingers start to melt together. Whatever. I think my wife has been watching today. Hi. So she's gonna have some questions for me after this episode.
Oh yes.
It's all right. So, anything else before we end this episode, Top? I think it's episode 80 actually. Only 20
This is
more
episode
until
80.
100.
It's episode 80.
20 more. You good? Nothing else?
I'm yelled out.
Sounds good. All right. So until next time, everyone. Goodbye.